You know, shoot the noun, you idiot.
Shoot that noun, bitch. Welcome to the 2 Decades Too Late podcast, gang.
Fantastic segue.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, do it.
I'm Brad hanging out with Josh.
What's up?
This is a podcast in which we rate and review an album that is turning 20 years old, mostly metal for whatever it's worth. Josh and I each give a rating of 1 to 5 choots. I'm kidding. To 4 different parameters for an individual maximum point total of 20 choots.
Great.
And a combined maximum point total of 40. Metal is on the table today, my friends.
Metal is on the table today. It's a completely metal table.
Yeah, it's all metal. It's going to hurt when you bump into it. You know,
sure.
You're going to...
You are going to break your toe.
Absolutely. There's a corner that is just savage that you'll never forgive.
And it seems like there's just 10 of them because you always hit it.
Yeah, and even you're paying attention. You are locked in, or so you thought, and now you're fucked. You know what? That actually pretty accurately describes this album.
Yeah, it really does.
Kind of, in a strange way.
So today's album coming at us from Revere, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
It was in my head.
It's great.
Massachusetts.
That's great. Massachusetts.
So definitely part of the New England metal hardcore era scene thing.
Strangely enough, yeah, super in the scene.
Yeah.
Just not.
Right. What DVD were they on? Was it the metal? Was it the Hellfest?
It was Hellfest, yeah. Okay. It was Hellfest. And they did Dreaming in Dog Years, which that might be a little hint to our intrepid viewers.
This song is called Dreaming in Dog Years. Which is not on this album. This album is, in fact, Clients by the Red Chord.
Yeah! God, the Red Chord's fucking sick.
I can't wait to talk about this. But before we do, they've active for 6 years at this point, formed in 1999, which weirds me out.
That is odd.
The pre-Y2K motherfuckers.
Yeah, and honestly, if Fused Together and Revolving Doors in 2002 is so far, it's almost to mathcore what Dillinger did in 99 or 98 with Calculating Infinity. Like, there's no one making a blueprint for what these bands were doing so early on. They just kind of did it. And I feel Red Chord, Every Time I Die, Dillinger, those bands were all kind of doing something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just not quite falling in line with a lot of what was going on at the time, but still fitting in. Like, it still worked with everything else. They stood out.
They did stand out for sure.
Man.
Album released May 17th, 2005 on Metal Blade, which that tracks.
Yep. You know the subset of Metal Blade, the Black Market, I think it is, or something like that?
I do not know that.
I can't remember what it is. It's under the Metal Blade umbrella. Well, anyway, the Red Chord started that. Like, a lot of bands are on it. It was like I think it was like a distribution. It was like the more extreme bands a little bit. Okay. But that was started because of the Red Chord. I want to say their vocalist actually started that subset of Metal Blade.
Interesting.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Which I guess is why you can just quit the music scene altogether and go become a police officer because you're making royalties on like a bunch of shit, I guess.
Yeah.
But
which he did.
Really cool.
Interestingly.
Yeah. Can you imagine getting pulled over by that guy?
No.
Fuck that.
Especially if he screamed at you.
Oh my God. He's got one of the most.
Do you know why I pulled you over?
I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Don't kill me, please. But anyway.
Yeah. So, man, I forgot to read the wiki on this, and I don't know if it's bumming me out or if, but we'll dive into that in a second, I guess.
There's really not a lot, though. That was a weird thing. There was this album. What's the other album I was thinking of that I almost wanted to have on it? It doesn't matter. But I almost wanted to add this to a jam session. Almost. The only reason I never pushed for it is because I just love this fucking album. So I selfishly never brought it up, even though there's really not a lot on Red Chord. Mostly because Red Chord they were never super public. They kind of just fucking put their heads down and played music and toured a lot. Yeah, like a lot. But I actually didn't realize until we did this that they formed in 99, which is really insane to me for what they are.
It absolutely is.
Wait, John Longstreth played drums for the Red Chord for a year?
I could see that. He's got that style.
For sure. I mean, he's like the best version of any of these guys. So it's like every band he's ever been in, I'm like, good call. He's the guy. I'm actually I kind of low-key assumed that Archspire would pick him up because he did a video.
Oh, did he?
And I was like, are you going to turn down John Longstreth? Because he's the best drummer that does this genre. Like, no one is better than him. I mean, he has equals for sure, but he has no one who is superior.
He hits so hard.
Yeah, I don't know how he plays so fast and hits so hard. It's unbelievable.
Wow. That's not what this is about. His forearms are like the size of like a cartoon ham with the bone.
Yeah, he's he's straight up just Popeyeing those drums. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point.
Get him some spinach, and he's just gonna go to town.
Man, which spinach doesn't do that. It's just a bunch of fiber. I never really understood.
It's got iron in it.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I'm thinking if I'm gonna picture a cartoon getting super just buff out of nowhere, like wouldn't you eat like a
steroid?
Like an animal, that definitely.
Cigarettes are cool too.
Yeah, he just pulls up his bicep and just shoots a syringe right into it. HGH across the screen.
Ping.
No one would get that in 1932 or wherever the fuck that came out.
Probably,
yeah. Anyway,
and the Red Chord on this album is Brad Fikesen on drums from 2004 to 2010. So he's with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Guy Kozowick on vocals, founding member, 99 to present. Mike Gunface McKenzie, guitar and backing vocals, basically a founding 2000 to present.
Yeah.
Kevin
it more
Rampelberg.
Seems like Guy just had like an idea in 99 and they became anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Kevin Ranage. Kevin Rampelberg on guitar. 99 to 2005, so I guess this was his last album.
Yep. Yeah, I think they just went on to have one guitar player after that. I don't even think they got another one.
Damn, all right.
I mean, maybe they did, but when we saw, anytime I think I saw them 4 or 5 times, I never saw them with a second guitar player.
Interesting. And Gregory Weeks on bass, 2004 to present. So we probably started here and just continued on, carried on like a wayward son.
Well, look at you. Like a pro. That's just a pro move right there.
Just slip it in. Slip it.
Sick. Man, that's... No one will get on our Instagram, but I would like to know if anyone knows what that reference is. That'd be
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool. Also, John Rice is their drummer now, which is so sick.
I don't even know who that is.
He was the dude who was in Job for a Cowboy when they got big.
Oh yeah.
He was almost like one of the first YouTube drummers.
Sick.
Like he was the first dude in 2005, 2006 that I ever saw. Wait, when did YouTube start? 2005? What? It would have been very early on, and that was the first guy I ever watched just play drums.
Nice.
And then it ruined my life because now that's all I do. Yeah. But I'm really pumped about that. He fills in for Behemoth anytime that guy can't tour. Like, he's really good. So, also, Mike Justian, the drummer that we covered on Unearth's Oncoming Storm.
Oh, yeah. That's why that name. Okay.
Yep. He was the drummer on on the Red Chord's first record with Trimming and Dog Ears. He's in the Hellfest DVD.
Yep. I remember that all now.
Yep. That's something.
And then he went
barely
to Unearth, and then like
a
crust punk band.
Yeah, then Obscurity, and I think he's back in Unearth now.
I think you're right.
Yeah. The world is better for him being in a metal band, in my opinion. Guy's very, very good.
Yeah.
Same with John Rice. This is all great. Well, yeah. Clients by the Red Chord.
Yeah.
What was your... So have you ever listened to this album? Was this like a first run through for you?
I have never listened to this whole album, most likely. Yeah. So it was definitely a first run through for me. And, I remember the Red Chord being like super extreme metal in 2005. I would categorize them with Into the Moat, but I like grindcore type deal. But I found this all like, I don't know if like palatable is the right word or basic's the right word, but it was not as crazy as I remember it being in 2005. Like, sure, there's a lot of it's and a lot of like pieces and parts, but they're not unusual in any way.
No, and for a band that is very grindcore adjacent, they write really well put together songs. Like, there's shit that gets stuck in your head weirdly. It's very odd to say for a band like this. For those of you who haven't listened to the Red Chord, I mean, if you gave Pig Destroyer a shot, this is not that. But you can see that they're related. They're like distant cousins.
Yeah.
Except the Red Chord decided to like incorporate hardcore and, have vocal patterns that stick out, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, they're far enough away from each other that they could date. Like, you might accidentally end up at the same family reunion, but it's not going to be weird.
No, I could see the wheels turning in your brain to the next part. And I was like, I don't know how bad this is going to be. But no, that was well done. That was good. Thanks. I was expecting the absolute worst there. Like, yeah, your kid might have a lazy eye, but like... but no, you're absolutely right.
You may end up with a kid. Never mind. Let's just leave it at night.
Yeah. You know what? We've been doing a very good job at that recently, and I'm very proud of the both of us. Yeah,
we're growing as people.
It only took us to almost our 40s, but we got there a little bit. But you're right. You're right. There, like, I think if you were in the scene at the time and this wasn't like your bag and you were more into the strictly As I Lay Dying sort of side of things, which isn't weird. I mean, that's fine. I'm sure this band seemed like an absolute train wreck. But it's not.
No, I wouldn't even say it's as much of a train wreck as the Fall of Troy was.
No, I agree with you completely. That one of my big call outs here was like, as much as Fall of Troy was a stream of consciousness, this could be, and it's not at all. It's a very well thought out, like, everything's on purpose, everything's got a point.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it's a concept album, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, another band that was way ahead of the times with microplastics and, like, he's talking about all that stuff. How eventually, like, our souls will become microplastics because we, like...
That sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. That's fine. Then I'd have one, so whether it's microplastics or not, I'm sure it's a net positive. But yeah, like, no, it's a really... it's a really cool... I don't know why, even still... So I've listened to the Red Chord steadily the whole time. I like every album... I listen to them often. I listen to Clients all the time. This wasn't even like a... This wasn't
a normal Tuesday.
Exactly. I didn't even need to brush up. I did because I love this album to death. And I was like, oh, an excuse to listen to this for probably a week straight? What a tragedy. Right. But yeah, I have no idea where I was going with that. But it's very good. And I like it. That's all. Yeah, but no. I always kind of thought their lyrics were like gore related. And they are at times, but not really. It's more, they're way more well thought out than I would have guessed. Spotify has none of them.
Interesting.
0 lyrics for this album. So I actually had to,
Luckily you can hear a lot of them.
He enunciates very well for a guy who's pretty guttural. Like, He's got a terrifying scream, man. That sounds like it's just rage and just coming out. God, his vocals are so sick.
So we got to talk about the vocals, because we did Misery Signals, with which the rose-colored glasses did not hold up for you. And one of the reasons was the talking vocals being a big problem. Sure. I need to know your take on that for this album.
His almost come across as funny to me in a way. Like, he seems like to pick the most obnoxious possible points in the song to do a talking thing. And I don't know why. He doesn't sound like he's doing it to do that because he needs to do it. It sounds like he's just going like, and fuck it, I'm going to talk right here. And I don't know why that bothers me significantly less than Misery Signals guy. Like, I can picture Misery Signals guy like going, I'm going to talk on this part. And he would add the
or he's just out of breath.
Sure, exactly. But
technique is trash.
Dying, it's like he like missed every fourth show. But no, well, I don't know. It doesn't have like I did this as a metalcore vocalist, so I'm very guilty of what I'm about to shit talk. So I'm not saying it against anyone really. We were all kind of going for it, but that like you'd put that little specific stank on the way you would speak your lyrics back then, because like the Zayo guy put that stank on it, so therefore we all put that stank on it. And this guy's not doing that. He just seems like he's going, I want to say this to make sure you can hear what I have to say. Like
he's got a little bit of like Poison the Well stank.
A little bit, yeah. But see, even with Poison the Well, I like it too, because like it doesn't seem so like I really made a point to talk here.
Because it's got an intonation to it.
Agreed. So no, and he doesn't do it a lot. The Red Chord. I mean, he does it a couple times. But
more than I realized, more than I would have expected based on what I had heard of the Red Chord.
That's super fair. And again, maybe that's the difference. Maybe since I kept it on rotation, it wasn't super. I just wasn't surprised by it all. Yeah, and maybe when I went back to Misery Signals, I was like, man, I did not realize he did this much. My God. Though. I mean, is it fair to say that the Misery Signals guy did it roughly 4 times as much as the Red Chord guy?
I'll give you 3. 3
okay,
times.
Give me 3. Sick. All right, I'll take it. I'll take whatever lifeline I can get out of my hypocrisy here. So I'll admit it. Whatever. I love the Red Chord. You can talk. It's fine. And I'll shit on the next guy that does it. That's I'm not above it. Also, 37 minutes is really not that long of an album either. You can kind of get in and get out.
You really can.
Anything under 40, I'm usually pretty pumped. Like, if you can get under 40, that's kind of where I like to live.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did it bother? Was it too much on your end? Did you find it off-putting?
I don't think off-putting, because it never bothered me with Misery Signals. Like, it never bothered me then. It doesn't bother me now. I was just surprised that they did it.
That's fair.
Because I had this image of the Red Chord as like, the hyper nutty, not do anything that anybody else was doing. But they really did a lot that everybody else was doing.
They just put it. They just rearranged it in a cool way. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they had the same influences probably as Into the Moat and all those dudes. They just did it. They did it. Honestly, I don't know who else sounds like the Red Chord. I really don't. I'm not saying that even as a super fan. I just don't know how many bands like landed on it in this way. There are a lot of similarities between a lot of bands with them. They didn't totally reinvent the wheel. They just, to your point, packaged it in a way that was a little them.
A lot of food uses like meat and lettuce and cheese and tortillas, I guess.
Yes, that is true. Nothing you said is wrong.
No. But like
tacos!
This ain't a taco, folks.
Nope.
That's going to be my new catchphrase.
That ain't a taco. Mostly that's just me straight up stealing Babish's new thing where he says, you could have fooled me. I got to tell you, it shouldn't be very funny, but every time he does... Have you watched any of his rating videos?
In a long time.
I like them a lot. His rating videos are particularly good. They're better than most, which isn't super weird, but every time he's like, he eats like a chicken nugget, say, and it's plant-based, but he thought it was chicken. He goes, "This is plant-based? Could have fooled me." And they literally play like a Seinfeld bass line behind it.
Great.
That's what I pictured. I laugh every time, like hysterically. Would it be fair to say, though, that despite the similarities and a lot of things going on with this band and everyone else in kind of that area of, I don't want to say metalcore, extreme metal. I'll just say extreme metal. There's
Deathcore,
so many
grindcore, technical death metal.
Yeah, there's so many subgenres. You can listen to one song and find 6 subgenres on a Red Chord song, but they were kind of more legendary than everybody. Like, they were like shit, man, did you see the Red Chord? And it was like, I don't know.
They were
and
at least kind of, yeah. I mean, Dillinger was the mainstream version of this.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it was Dillinger and them, and it's because the Red Chord they didn't really do a lot of interviews. They didn't really do a lot of. They didn't talk on stage, really. They just kind of ripped your face off and went home every night 320 days out of the year. And
I mean, every 2 years. I mean, there was a 3-year gap between Fused Together and Clients, but
other than that, 2
here's
years
some more music.
Fuck. Yeah. So they just kept going, and honestly getting better. I mean, I think Clients is my favorite album of theirs, but Fed Through the Teeth Machine in 2009 is pretty close to flawless. Dang. Like, and he doesn't do the talking thing, went pretty much out the window also. Yeah. And he got more guttural. He stopped doing highs pretty much altogether, and they just got super fucking brutal. Fed Through the Teeth Machine is a pulverizing album, as this is as well. It's just they just got even more no fucks given sort of situation. Mostly, you know what the thing is too, even though I listened to this a lot, I didn't, only because I'm so used to it, I guess, but I kind of forgot how much hardcore's on it. There's a lot of straight up hardcore.
There is.
Like, and I knew it was there, but when I'm trying to listen to it analytically, I was like, wow, like a lot. And it was always exactly the right spot for me too, where I'm like, that's exactly where I wanted them to stop being pinch harmonics and whatever and going straight into a just mosh heavy hardcore parts.
Yeah.
So sick. So sick. Well,
they get inspiration. Like this vocalist gets inspiration from the strangest places. I pulled up Fed Through the Teeth Machine on the wiki and just read a little on the background. And he's like, the album title, it's from the Discovery Channel, the show How It's Made. They were talking about the machine they feed zippers through.
That's awesome.
He's like, we just thought the name was creepy.
It is. Well done. They were right.
And then they turned that into the album artwork, and Jesus, that's haunting.
It is. Yeah.
This album artwork is haunting.
It is. That's all of their album artwork is. They're like, even Pray for Eyes. It's probably the least. Yeah, it's the tamest, but at the same time might be the most haunting one. Like the like figure on the cover that's like, obviously here's what I'm doing right now is stalling like myself from just going, I love everything, it's great. Like, that's what's happening here.
I have to find different words.
Yeah, I have to talk about something other than good. I can't just say good.
Thesaurus.com.
Any of the songs on this album, were you familiar with any of them, or was it pretty much new straight through?
I knew Fixation on Plastics, and I knew Ant-Man, and that was probably about it. Man,
I'm so interested to hear what you have to say then. Like, I'm so excited about this because I don't know why I thought I guess I just thought we were similarly Red Chord fans, but I don't know why I thought that.
Maybe I faked it for 30 years.
I don't think you did. I just must have. I think, you know what this is? I love Red Chord so much that I'm one of those douchebags that are like, everybody likes the Red Chord, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't you like it? What's not to love? All right, Ant-Man. I'm just going to go. We do a thing on here. We have a playlist going. This year's playlist is TDTL favorite songs on Spotify, and this one's favorite songs 05, because all of the Ant-Man's going on. So
what's great? It's my favorite song.
Perfect. I was gonna say I don't care what else either of us picks. Ant-Man's going on that thing hard. Yeah. That isn't just the best. It's probably the best song on the album. But not only that, that's one of my favorite songs from that era in general.
Yeah,
like just period. It was on the as this often happens, was on the Sounds of the Underground. The DVD.
It was on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. God, what a fucking sick song. And at 3 minutes, it just kicks your teeth in and gets on, and you're just better for it.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts? What you're getting in Fixation on Plastics? You've heard that before. Did anything?
I have heard that before.
I want to hear your journey through this. Mine is boring. Mine was, I liked this. I turned it on. When it was over, I still liked it a lot.
I've listened to it like 3 to 5 times for this, probably.
Okay.
And I did find like his lyrics are super clear. Like you can hear everything.
Weird. He enunciates like nobody's business.
He does. But I did find them like a little repetitive, even on like a 2-minute and 44-second song. I was like, there's not a lot of lyrics here.
Yeah, he is lacking in that on this. I will give you that. We all sucked at that back then. You remember how much Keith Buckley used to just like repeat the same thing for like 8 bars? I'm not saying it's a good thing when Keith Buckley did it either. I did it because I hate writing lyrics. It's my least favorite thing in music. So if I could get like 3 solid lines in there that I could repeat 19 times, I probably did it. But that was me being lazy.
Yeah. But this guy's got like,
but you're
he's got a shtick for this album. Like each song's a different client or person with a mental ailment.
Yep.
And each one's kind of like a story based on like stories that he would be told by people, because he worked at a convenience store located next to a psychiatric rehabilitation hospital.
Man, that is the soup.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are the odds? Like, yeah, of course you end up being the vocalist of the Red Chord.
Right. So, but like he's got a lot to work with there. But I guess
that's true.
Get in, get out. He didn't. Trevor Strnad would have.
Yep.
Really elaborated.
Yeah, it is a shame. Honestly, Trevor Strnad, you ruined a lot of that back then. Well, at least for me, because I mean, there were a lot of bands doing that, obviously, but in the metalcore community, genuinely, we were all trying to write the fewest lyrics as humanly possible. Like, go listen to an old As I Lay Dying song. He writes like 25 words of lyrics, and that's it. And he just repeats a lot of it. And Trevor told beautifully and terrifyingly written stories. Yeah.
Skin
so well done
stories.
Anyway, Red Chord, super sick.
Red Chord, super sick. Little redundant on the lyrics.
Yep, redundant on the lyrics. I will give you that 100%.
I did find this, I don't know, maybe a little unpolished. Like some of the parts kind of went on too long for me. Especially like, I think it's hospice residents. There's a build to a part in that. The build's super sick, and what it builds into is also super sick, but the build is just like a little too long for me.
Super fair.
Then to end with a 7.5 minute instrumental.
Oh,
that's not even like it doesn't even really fit the rest of the album. Like it's got an entirely different genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite part about it. I love the instrumental. The only reason I didn't pick it, I selfishly decided immediately when we even put this on, I didn't even have to listen to it. I was like, well, Ant-Man's going on the playlist.
Right.
I don't care how the conversation goes. Ant-Man's going on the playlist. But I had to talk myself out of putting track 11, He Was Dead When I Got There, which, by the way,
fantastic.
That's such a absolutely, what a dramatic song title for a song with no lyrics.
Yeah,
but see, that's the shit about this band that I love so much. So like, okay, like, I agree with everything you just said. Is it going to impact my scores? Not even a little.
Yeah, right.
But I do absolutely agree with you. He really, honestly, and I will say the following albums, he's better at the lyric stuff. They're better at that. Like, I mean, they just get better and better. Honestly, if you haven't listened to the Red Chord, I wouldn't start backward because I don't want you to listen to them degrade necessarily. Degrade might be a bit harsh, but their last album was pretty much the perfect
I do need to listen to it.
It's so good. It's like the perfect version of whatever this is. Whatever you want to call this, I don't care. I know I get bogged down with subgenres. They truly encompass a little too much for me to put it in a box, even though I desperately want to.
What does Wiki call it? Wiki calls it death grind, deathcore.
Yeah, death grind is as good as your... And the deathcore is fine, too. Like I said, they have straight up tough guys. I mean, honestly, they do like New York-style hardcore better than a lot of New York-style hardcore bands. Like, I mean, when they hit it...
They're from Revere, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, sorry.
Choots.
Choots. Choots and choots.
Choots and choots. I don't know why... Oh, I'm in a great mood. Choots it. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard to say. Choots.
I'm not going to try it a second time because it pretty much nailed the dismount on the first.
Choots. They get hotter than a choots. I don't know how to come back from that. Anyway,
gets hotter than the choochie coochie.
Oh man. So anyway, the last song, He Was Dead When I Got There, is a 7.5-minute instrumental that I adore, even though it makes no sense in the context of the album whatsoever. It sounds like a Black Label Society song.
It does, yeah. Or like kind of the beginning to Wet Work, I think, by Blood Has Been... Like, it's got that slow tempo to it. After what was just I don't know, spastic. It wasn't even spastic. Like, my brain tells me say spastic, but it's like really composed.
I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal
like
for sure.
You're getting pummeled, but not in a... Yeah, you're you know what's funny? I guess now that you're saying it, it is hard to ignore the fact that I think it is really easy to think that this is going to be a mess. Just by what you think the Red Chord is. And then it just isn't. Because I will say their first album's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you wouldn't be if you're just starting out and you're like, whatever, 18 or something and trying to write
Dreaming in Dog Years.
Exactly. With like a jazz intro. But yeah, it's funny because with Blood Has Been Shed, it's the opposite. It's like the intro of their album. What is that novella?
Novella of Uriel.
Yeah. Man, that album is so... I have that on a physical CD still. Not burnt. I have the actual physical CD. Weird. What's weirder, that or the Mike Patton Dillinger? Because I have both.
If I had to pick one being weirder than the other, it's definitely Blood Has Been Shed.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Well, I have both, which is really weird. But
that's the weirdest. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, you want to get to the review? I mean, track by track breakdown, you could do it. They're different enough.
I don't know if I'd be able to do a lot of it justice. Seems kind of... I did learn that a dragon wagon was a World War II thing. I didn't know that was... Yeah. It's an actual, like, tank situation from World War II. Is a dragon wagon.
That tracks with the mental ailment portion of...
It does.
The subject matter.
Yep. A big old PTSD track there at track 8, 3 minutes and 1 second, Dragon Wagon. I assumed it was something to do with weed, which would also be in line with what these dudes were doing.
I thought it had to do with butts.
See?
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Not like that wagon you're dragging.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's very clever. I never would have made that connection. That's very good. I like
Scrubs.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Santa's pretty sick at track 3. Very, very good song. Very chaotic. That one's a pummel. Just beat you up. Also a gross. Was it you and I that saw Black Christmas when it was remade in the early 2000s in the theater? And like the very first part of the movie, like it was one of the earlier movies I ever left.
Oh, I don't think it was.
Because literally, like, they bring out this cookie tray of human ears.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, and no. Nope. I literally thought I was going to get sick. Like, because they really looked real, and they literally pulled them out of the oven as if they baked cookies.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, I got the fuck out of there. So every time I see Black Santa, I think of Black Christmas.
Okay. That's
and
fair.
Okay, yeah. Review.
Yeah.
I say review.
Yeah.
Review. All right, folks, gang, people, all of you beautiful humans who actually listen to this still. By the way, we're still averaging like 100 a month, and I don't get it. I love you, whoever you are. I don't know who you are. As far as I can tell, the only people that listen to this, I said people. The only person that listens to this podcast, as far as I can tell, is Mick Cavanaugh. And I love you, Mick. I will love you till the day I die. Not just for this, obviously, but man, he's always the first one that likes our shit.
All right.
And it's just, I love you, man. I love you. So we are reviewing the album Clients by the, I'll say, legendary Red Chord, coming out with a new album this year or next year, by the way.
No way. All right.
Everyone's coming back.
What'd you think of the
Josh.
album art?
All right, yes, thank you for reeling me in there. I'm clearly slap happy from staying up too late last night. This looks like a dude that, it looks like the dude I spin kicked during Hate Man. But no, all kidding aside, I love the album art. It's almost purposely cartoony, which I kind of dig. Obviously, I don't like clip art and stuff like that. This isn't that. This is clearly a grotesque, a grotesquely drawn human being. I don't know. I love it. I think it paints a perfect picture of what you're about to hear. And actually, to your point, where it being slightly unpolished and the subsequent albums being more polished, their album artwork almost like signifies that. Like, if you look at this album artwork, it's kind of gross and weird and not maybe as polished. And I think it perfectly represents the album that you're about to get into. I think if you look at this album for album artwork for a minute and really try to soak it in, whatever that means, and then you listen to this, it is exactly what I'm probably, whatever you were thinking it's going to be. It's probably about right. And this is going to get really old from me, but it's a 5.
That's weird.
Yep.
Did not see that one coming.
One of those, gang. One of those. What about you?
I think the artwork was done by Paul Romano. He's credited for layout, concept, and design. I don't know if that means he did the album artwork. I would believe equally if you told me that the vocalist, Guy Kozawick, did the actual album artwork. But I definitely think it's a 5.
Yeah, it's fucking rad.
It is a perfect representation of the subject matter, the music, and the composition's great. Like, just as a kind of like, it's got an oil painting-y feel to it. It is, I mean, it's an awful version of like what I would imagine a Picasso or something like that is.
Yeah, fair
like
enough.
Van Gogh type painting.
Yeah.
Color palette even.
Yeah, it's like Van Gogh if he had way too much absinthe.
Yeah. I've never understood their logo, though, being that kind of like Japanese samurai type text. But it doesn't bother me. It's just, I've never really... understood how they landed there.
I do love it because I don't know anyone. It's an odd choice, by the way. It is an odd choice, no doubt about it. But I kind of love it for that reason because it's so recognizable immediately. Like, you don't even have to read it. It's just as soon as you see that little like R swoop, like it's the Red Chord. And it's odd that the T is like lowercase, while the R is uppercase.
And
that's
C.
a choice. Yeah. So it's like, it's almost like they didn't know if they actually.
Red Chord.
Yeah. It seemed.
The Red Chord.
Yeah. It almost seems like they didn't know for sure if they wanted to have a the. Like they could have just been Red Chord.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, throw a fucking the in there. Don't even capitalize it. We don't care enough. Okay, sick. Yeah, I love it.
Winds of Plague is the only other band I could think of that has like a vaguely.
That is such a good call. Yep, that's the one. And that makes sense for them. Pretty much all their lyrical content was about going to war as a samurai.
Yep.
So, yeah. I haven't thought about Winds of Plague in probably 15 years.
Blood of My Enemy in 2017 was a pretty solid album. There's some good stuff on there.
Really? I'll check that out. I liked them. They were kind of.
I liked them enough.
Yeah. There you go. Yep, that's exactly how I would describe it. Okay. What did you think of the production of Clients by the Red Chord then versus now?
I landed on a 4, and I don't know why. Higher or lower. Because there are some things in here, like the way you talk about production and stuff like that. There's some odd choices on here, I think.
There are.
But it was done by Zeus, so it sounds incredible. And the mixing and mastering is by just the mastering, but Alan Duchess, or however you say his letter. I'm always going to say Duchess and not Douches, but it may be Douches.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I would say Duchess as well. But yeah.
So obviously the sound is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And consistent throughout. Like there's a lot in here, and you can hear all of it.
Yeah. Well, in like there's a part. So specifically with the drums, they almost sound overproduced. But then you get to like there's like a slow part in one of the songs. I'm trying to think of what it is, and I can't.
Especially to start off with Fixation on Plastics and just be like that's what you're getting.
Yeah, and it's like, and then you're like, in my head, I'm thinking, are these overproduced? And then there's this part where it gets kind of slow, and I can't think of the fucking song where there's like a break.
I think it's Hospice Residence.
Is it Hospice Residence or is it Upper Deck?
It might be Upper Deck.
Okay, it's Upper Deck. There we go. It's Upper Deck. So there's a part where he's playing his floor tom, just kind of like, almost like keeping the momentum going during this soft part.
Yeah.
And you can hear you can hear his velocities. And I remember thinking like, wow, Zeus crushed, almost overproduced. But if you pay attention, it's not. You can actually hear the finesse of the guy. It's just he's such a fucking monster that most of it sounds insane because he's just such a good drummer. Like the next album, by the way, the one after this, which I heard Pray or whatever it is.
Pray for Eyes.
Pray for Eyes. The drums on that are fucking insane. Like it's absurdly bonkers. Anyway.
Same guy.
But yeah, same guy. That's what he got better somehow. Anyways, but no, I love the production of this, especially the verse. Sometimes the then verse now is a hang up.
Yeah.
I think it's the exact opposite here. Like,
that's fair.
Honestly, technical death metal production has changed very little.
At least the way Zeus does it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And Zeus can make the most insane stuff still sound so fucking thick. I don't know how he does it, but that man's tool belt must be extensive. It's a 5. I mean,
yeah.
I'm beating a dead horse at this point. And I won't on the next one. I will take the first hit, Impact at the time, It's a 5.
Yeah.
So, Josh, what is the impact at the time for you with the Red Chord? Because, I mean, I remember Jordan Guyton and I just being like, how do we shoehorn? Can I write this? No. What's my best guess? Like, what is my... Yeah.
How do we do this with our skill level?
Yeah, exactly. Which is so much lesser than... just so much. It's not even close.
Didn't stop us from trying.
Nope.
I gave it a 2.
Fair.
Mostly because it was part of that New England metal and hardcore scene, so that all had a big impact. And they were in with the like Into the Moats and Dillingers, but I just never really latched on to the Red Chord specifically. So like I knew Dreaming in Dog Years and Ant-Man, Fixation on Plastics, because it was on singles and mixtapes and stuff like that. But I didn't go much further than that.
Super fair. I would suspect not a lot of people that were into this stuff at the time would land anywhere between that. You know what I mean? I think you're landing on a 1 or a 2 or a 4 or a 5, never a 3. Like I can't see that being the case.
No one was just on the fence about Red Chord. The Red Chord.
The
Red Chord.
The Red Chord.
Yeah.
The Red Chord.
Brad, did you enjoy listening to this album today?
You know, wouldn't it be weird if this was the one where I'm like, and I gotta tell you, I really hated this listen through.
I honestly wasn't sure because I knew it had been in your rotation forever, but I wasn't sure if like listening to it to do this, you would pick up on anything new or it'd be like, you know what? I really just didn't hit me this time.
I honestly, not only do I agree with you wholeheartedly going into this, I was actually worried.
Yeah.
Because I adore, like I can't sugarcoat it. I adore this album. I adore this band. They could go out and make like a jazz record and I would buy it. And honestly, it would probably be very good.
Very good.
Yeah, because they're so insanely talented. But no, I like it more now than I ever did.
Damn. So 6?
Yeah, I genuinely wanted to try to talk you into letting me give this a 6 or like a 5.1 just to be a fucking asshole. I obviously will not do that. But yeah, it's just, I love it so much more even. And the funny thing is, like, I so see where you're coming from on the instrumental at the end. And when I was leading up to it, I had kind of forgotten about that track. Yeah. I don't skip it because I don't like it. I skip it because it's so long and I got stuff to do. You know what I mean? But no, I like it more now than I ever did. What about you, man? Sorry, I've talked a lot about how much I like this band. I'm sure that's very annoying. So,
I mean, I've had my bands for sure.
That's fair. I just don't know when to shut my fucking mouth.
It got a 3 for me.
Fair.
So, I mentioned, I listened to it like probably 3 to 5 times. And I'd say about half of those times it was like a 4, 4.5. And half of those times it was like a 2, just depending on what I was doing or where the mood fell that day. There's definitely a lot to like on it, especially like for 2005 and like all the stuff that I was used to. But it did get a little talky for me. It got a little repetitive for me in places. And then like some places I was like, this is kind of a little long to do this. If I was listening, like if I was in a hypercritical mood at the time, I'd be like, meh.
Honestly though, that's super fair because that happens. It's just whether you're cool with it or not. I mean, literally that's it. They make odd choices at times. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited to check out some more of the Red Chord and listen to those later albums and just kind of see what direction they took. So like I'm not off put by the band at all in any capacity. Sure. It's just like I may not throw this album on in its entirety very frequently, but like definitely the couple standout songs are good. Fantastic.
Yeah, I really do hope you listen to it. If nothing else, Fed Through the Teeth Machine I do think is better than Pray for Eyes. Nice. I don't know of any other album that has more of a feeling of dread.
Great.
It is absolutely ominous, and I don't know what it is.
I mean, we listened to Blood Has Been Shed.
We did. This Fed Through the Teeth Machine has more dread than Blood Has Been Shed does by a mile. Like, there's this, it gives this weird feeling of just, I don't know. It honestly, when I first heard it, I didn't like it because of that.
Yeah.
I was like,
nice.
I feel bothered by this, and I don't know why. I don't know if they put like a frequency
filter,
in there
yeah.
or something. I don't know. But it took me like 3 or 4 listens back in the day, which at this point, that was even almost 20 years ago. But anyway, yeah. But I don't blame you for a 3 at all. I would assume a lot of people landed on a 3 for the Red Chord in general, as far as enjoyed listening. Like, yeah,
All Music
to it.
gave it a 3.5 out of 5. User Review was a 3.5 out of 5. Blabbermouth gave it an 8 out of 10. So, like, good.
Blabbermouth, man, Blabbermouth must have gotten soft over the years then.
Because must have, yeah.
Now it's just like, what do you think of the new Guns N' Roses live album? And it's like, who cares?
I don't care for that.
And I don't even care if you like Guns N' Roses. That's fine. But are you really like seeking out a Guns N' Roses live album right now? No,
I'm not.
No.
Yeah, but Blabbermouth, it's an extreme music that you can feel in your bones, that satisfies the primal urges, and that stimulates and or scars the mind.
Very well said. It's a ferocity and chaos, all while being palatable somehow, and I don't really get that, but it's well done. All right, well, 6. So, Clients by the Red Chord. Josh, you have landed on a 14 out of 20 choots.
I have.
And I have, surprising to no one, landed on 20 choots out of 20 choots. We're not going to do that forever. I will get tired or forget eventually, but... But until then, buckle up.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a 34 out of 40. I'm very... You know what? Honestly, your score, I think, is a dead-on perfect representation. Mine was never gonna be.
Right. Yeah.
But I think your score is exactly right. Like, honestly, if I take my nostalgia and my just overall love of these guys out, I think... You're pretty much dead on. Yeah, it's very close. Well, impact at the time, they really did impact me immensely. I can't avoid that. So that's just going to be whoever you were in 2005. But listen to Josh on this one more than me, everybody. This is I think a 14 is very well earned, and within a couple points is about probably where this lands, give or take, depending on how you feel about it.
Okay, so.
Sick.
And we kind of already
34?
did the favorite songs.
So you've got Ant-Man.
Yep.
Damn it, that means I have to pick something else.
Yup.
You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, Hospice Residents.
Great.
Track 7. I'll go with that.
Fantastic call.
Do you have a backup you want to give, or should we just stick with you being Ant-Man and not land on 3 on this?
I'm Ant-Man all the way.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. I was also very ready for this to have 3 tracks on the playlist. But like we mentioned earlier, we have a playlist on Spotify. We have 2 now, actually. TDTL Favorite Songs 04, TDTL Favorite Songs 05. Hospice Residents and Ant-Man will find their way onto that playlist should you want to check it out. Man, check us out on Instagram at TDTL_podcast, which I posted to yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Little late, but
stuff. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah. Oh, the Red Chord. Yeah. Let me know, seriously though, if you do listen. Have you listened to that Blind Guardian song yet?
No.
Damn it. Well, never mind. Forget it. It's fine.
I will for sure. I'm gonna listen to that, and then I might be driving to New Jersey this week, so I'll have a lot of time.
Oh shit! Well, I would love to hear what you think of "Fed Through the Teeth Machine" specifically. I'm not trying to have you skip the one in between. It's a very good record. I do want your. It's just there's a feeling on that shit that just makes me want to.
I got to know.
Crawl in a hole and wait for the apocalypse.
I won't listen to it on the drive. I'll listen to it in the dark hotel room with headphones on and just.
Hell yeah! Get in there.
Cry. I'll be naked in the tub.
All because of a Red Chord album.
Yeah.
That's really funny. They would be so proud if they found out that someone felt so much dread from one of their albums that you had to just sit there and be sad.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says. Anyway, Josh.
Yeah. With that, he's been Brad. I've been Josh, and we've been 2 decades too late.